So we've been talking about objects that you can place inside your e-learning or digital learning project. And, we had a look at Powtoon where you could do animated characters. We looked at Voki, which is a static head that lip syncs to your words. And there's one more I want to show you that people have used in the past, and it's called Pixton. If you use any of these objects, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing it? Don't do it just for the sake of doing it. For example, you can have the introduction to your course in Powtoon. Nice little animation. You can have a comic strip that starts off a narrative, a story, where characters are involved, and you almost bring your learner in as a character inside that comic strip. Now, you might want to place maybe as an introduction a Voki at the beginning of each lesson, as long as you keep it consistent. So this tutorial is going to quickly show you how to use Pixton. And once you're in, I know if you've used PowerPoint or you've moved graphics around and words around, you'll pick it up very quickly once you're in. So first of all, go to pixton.com. You're going to click the sign up button, which will, you can use your Seneca email. It's a very simple process, but it'll allow you to get a free account, and it doesn't expire. I mean, this is not a 30-day trial. Once you have an account, it's good to go. And of course, there's always paid versions of this. So I'm just going to log in, and let me show you how to create one. So when you get in, I mean, you can explore the main page that they're giving you. They're always giving you different types of examples, work of other people, different authors, and so on. But what you're going to do is go to the top left, and there's a button, looks like a pencil. It says My Comics. You click on it, and you'll always get this tutorial. If you want to start the tutorial, go ahead. But I'm going to say Remind Me Later. Now, first thing you'll see is Create a Comic Now. Now, at the top, you could always go and look at your published comics, unpublished comics, which the ones that you're working on right now, and so on. So I'm going to click Create a Comic Now, and you have a choice. Now, you almost have to picture what these look like, and if you're not sure, you try them, okay? This is your standard comic strip. It's like square boxes side by side, up and down, that are exactly the same size. But then you've got this thing called a graphic novel, which lets you do bigger and smaller blocks of, backgrounds and images and text and so on. You pick and choose. It depends. I think graphic novel might be way too big to put into a digital learning as a screen. You might have it as a download, for example, maybe create a PDF out of it for a person to read, especially if you're reaching out to younger people and you want to kind of gamification, that's the word, some of your e-learning. We're going to start with the standard comic strip. So you click select. And then it's asking if you want to go basic or advanced. Now, basic, you can try it out. It's just like a very simple way to just put, block by block images and so on. But I'm going to go to advanced. I just want to show you some stuff. You can do everything in advanced you could do in basic, but a little bit more. Okay, so let's click select and just be patient. And there we go. So there's your first block. And inside this block, and don't worry about how big it is, okay? Don't worry about that at all. This is just an editing mode, and you can always zoom up and down. So inside this block, we're going to put characters, text, props, and backgrounds. So I'm going to start with my background, click, and as you know, there are plenty of stock backgrounds to choose from. I'm pretty sure that a paid version is going to give you a lot more. Now I'm going to put, let's say, by the way, you can go forward. There's a lot more than just what you're looking at. So my story is going to start off in a place with a rainbow. Actually, no. Let's do a lighthouse, okay? There we go. So there's my lighthouse. That's my background. And you can slide this up and down to kind of zoom in or out. Okay, you get the idea? And you can also drag and drop the lighthouse right within frame. And that's pretty good. So now, what I'm going to do is add a character. Now you got choices of characters, but I'm going to choose this person here. He looks like a sailor kind of person, or she does. And I'm going to put that character right there. Now you see the proportions aren't necessarily perfect, but if you click on one of these dark kind of blue squares, it will drag the character proportionally, height and width. And that's about right about there. Now I'm going to put another character because they're talking to somebody, and they're talking to this lady here. So I'm going to put the lady, and again, kind of proportionate. Make sure the feet touch the ground, and she's a little bit in the background, okay? Now, here's the cool thing. Do you want both of them standing as if they're ready to fight? No. So you click on it, and there's a place to actually change the pose over here. So you go to Edit Expression, and you click on this button here, Preset Poses. So pose is simply what the person is doing at that moment. There's some pretty cool ones here, right? Laying down, so on. Ouch. Okay, so let's do this one here. She's got a back pain. Okay. All right, this guy's kind of looking, and she's got some sort of a back pain or maybe an attitude. I'm not really sure. Let's take a look at some props. There's some pretty cool props in here. I mean, I'm just trying to think of something funny. Maybe there's a hang glider going above, okay? Again, proportionate. Hang glider's about to crash. Now, what do we want the characters to say? Well, in the first scene, nothing. So we're going to add a second scene. And maybe actually let's put a title up here. So what I'm going to do is I'll add text. And I'll just say, meanwhile, ... And then, of course, you can move this around by just clicking Move Object. We'll move it here. So, meanwhile, ... That's the start of the story. So, second scene, we're going to click this plus sign here. And it's going to put a duplicate of that scene, right? So what I want to do is, and the reason they do a duplicate is because the background doesn't change all the time. In the third scene, I might want them inside the lighthouse, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this person's pose. Go over here to Edit Expression. Go down here to Preset Poses. And we're going to have this person do something like vengeful. Okay, good. Now what's this person going to say? Let's delete the text. Let's put add text. Let's say, watch out. Exclamation mark. All right, let's move this over. And if you wanted to make it into one of those bubbles that shows that he's talking, you click on it and go down here to where it says bubble shape. And you could choose one of these bubbles. Also, watch out. There we go. Okay. Now, if you wanted to duplicate this bubble, so put it on top of the girl, you could do that as well just by clicking duplicate. But I'm going to do a new one. So I'm going to put in another text. And if it doesn't change to the shape you want, click down here to bubble shape and choose something like that. So I'm going to have her go into daydream mode, and inside it, I'm going to double click and add some text. So I'm going to say Dodo. Dodo. She's either calling him a dodo or asking, are you Dodo? There we go. Now I'm going to put a third scene. And this time, in this scene, we're going to take out these characters. Actually, leave that character. Leave her. Click on this character. And I'm going to change her pose. And I'm going to make her flat on the ground because she fell. Oh, there we go. This one's maybe better right there. Oh, all right. Well, it looks like she's falling. Okay, good. Oh, too late. So double click here and say too late. And I'll double click here and say, wah. All right, wah. Now let's just move that over. So in this demo, I'm just doing this quickly, but obviously you're going to take some time. So we've done 3-panel scene, and you could keep adding as many panels as you like. And you could delete panels if you like and make sure you save the panels as you go. And you can have a main title for this, okay? So meanwhile, at the lighthouse. Okay, now that title might or might not matter, okay? So here's what we're going to do. Let's just save these panels. We'll save. There we go. Once you save, 2 things, okay? You can download it, and I'm pretty sure that's going to not be as straightforward as you like. You can publish it, but then the publish link you have to use, okay? So why publish something if you don't need to? I'm simply going to use the snipping tool, SNIPPING, which is available on every Windows. Click New, and just cut out my comic, and be very careful about the edges. There we go. Okay, so I can save this, save as, and I could just save it as intro 1, and it's a JPEG, right? Now I think you know what to do with the JPEG. You can insert it right inside your My Seneca. Now, what I would recommend though is if you're going to go like this, I'd put the third box below, so you can cut out each box. And then just place it underneath so that it looks like more linear vertical than horizontal. So is there more to it? Of course, there's a lot more. You can just click in and have a look at these different backgrounds. Like for example, if you wanted to make the sky a little bit yellower, you can do that. Even for dramatic at the very end, I'm going to go and make the background maybe a little bit red. Oh my God. Okay, so a little bit of dramatic impact. But you know what? Not much of a story. I get it. Save it. But if you can come up with just the right combination of things, make a realistic kind of background, whatever setting it is, like, for example, a kitchen if you're doing baking cakes, etc. I think you can motivate your learners. Hey, this is cool. I haven't seen this before. And this, in fact, is part of gamification. You're making the learner part of your narrative. You're part of your experience. Okay, so you can save for later, and when you go back, of course, you can go access your comic by just clicking here. If you remember, we had published and unpublished, and I have one that's in progress. I can always go in and delete it. I wouldn't worry about going in and sharing. You can publish it. But the thing is, where does it go? What are you going to do? Share a link with people? So you can do that. If you want to share this with a lot of people around the world, I'd rather just copy it out and then maybe put it in my email. Okay, so that's a good introduction to Pixton. So have a look, try different things, and have some fun with it.